Consultant brings you Garage Logic podcast number 1618. Oh man, I got to call my brother. It's his birthday today, September 12th.
Hey, which one?
Johnny.
Happy birthday, Johnny.
September 12th. We don't do that.
That's right.
September 12th, 2025. 94 degrees on this day on two occasions, 1908 and 1948, and 36 degrees on this day in 1940.
Call Josh.
Well, I'm going to. Call Josh Arnold.
Right now?
Well, it wouldn't hurt, man. Call Josh Arnold at 952-925-5608 for a free 48-minute consultation.
Hail the flashlight king.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Let's start with some good news, shall we? Sophia Forchast was one of the kids shot at Annunciation. She's the only one still in the hospital. She has been moved from a serious condition label to an improvement.
Here's today's ray of hope.
Keep fighting it, kid. You'll get there. Her neurosurgeon, Dr. Walt Galasich, said during a news conference last week that Sophia came into the hospital with a gunshot wound to the head and was in critical condition. Her eyes were bilaterally fixed and dilated, meaning the pressure in her head was very high. Ooh. And if you had told me at that juncture 10 days later that we'd be standing here with any ray of hope, I would have said it would take a miracle, Galasich said. Now, the bullet still remains in her head.
Oof.
Galasich, the doc, says removing the bullet will not help her situation and could actually make it worse. Come on, you're going to do it, kid. Doctors had to remove the left half of her skull to give her brain room to swell. The bullet's path injured critical vessels in the brain, and doctors did their best to repair the vessels and stop the bleeding. All right. That's all I have.
Does he give any kind of...
Her mother is a pediatric critical care nurse.
Wow. Oh, that's good.
And she went to work to help that day. She went back to work before discovering that the shooting happened at her child's school and that her daughter was injured. Come on, kid, you can do it. I don't know what having a bullet in your brain might do for the rest of your life, but if these guys can figure it out, they will. And I'm just going to say this right off the bat. If I was going to go to the trouble to be a doctor, because that's a lot of study.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I would go all the way and be a neurosurgeon. I mean, it's like being a fighter pilot. There's very few of these guys that are this talented. So hang in there, Walt, and hang in there, Sophia.
It's amazing what they can do. Did the doctor give any kind of prognosis for 6 months, a year down the road?
That he has not done, but he is essentially saying it's a miracle that she's come this far in 10 days.
Yeah.
I mean, they're taking stuff apart in there.
And to be
and
able
putting it back together.
Isn't it almost an extended level of care, sympathy, whatever, emotion when it's a kid, as opposed to an adult or whatever?
So have you guys ever, I've held a brain for an animal in my hand, and it's just a mush. I don't know how they can possibly go into that organ and do what they do. It's so miraculous.
Well, correct me.
It's just a ball of mush.
Yeah, but I don't think it is.
What do you mean?
I think the brain, what's the word I want?
I don't know. We're so far out of our pay grade.
Well, we really
here.
are.
I'm just expressing gratitude for that kind of education and those skills. I guess that's my crude way of doing that.
May I chime in?
Let me just finish. You've seen pictures of the brain with looks like clouds and clouds and clouds and clouds.
Sure.
I think those have a substance to them. I don't think they're mushy.
They do, but there's a bazillion of them.
Well, let's end this right now.
Hold on. Subject line.
What do you guys want to know?
Subject
What do you
line.
wanna know?
Subject line from Hans. Joe is a doctor. Way too much math. He'd never get
That's
through
true. I
it.
would not be able to do it.
Thank you, Hans. Oh, you know what? Speaking of Hans, our donation drive yesterday, we started the day at $325. We now sit at 5,450. GLers, you guys rock.
You know what Christopher Maryland sent me? She said, I rounded it off to get you to $5,000.
Oh, that's
Thank
fantastic. Yeah, so this is our final push for the Frontline Foundation here today on Garage Logic. And you know what? You GLers, as Kenny just mentioned, are amazing. And the round of support. And how about the fact that Mike Schoonover just said, I yield my time to the Frontline Foundation yesterday. That was spectacular. So go to garagelogic.com/donate, or if you just go to the regular website, you can see the Frontline Foundation banner ad there, and you can donate today. We really appreciate each and every one of you.
I have another ray of hope.
All right, here we go.
Here's today's ray of hope.
I got a note for some character named Bernie Lauer. I don't know who the hell that is.
Never heard of him.
But he was at this dinner last night in downtown Minneapolis. It's called Dinner des Nord, where 2,000 people lined Nicollet Mall, and apparently they had tastings from various restaurants. Well, the gist of his message is that Mayor Jacob Fry was there, and this Bernie fellow talked to a lot of people, and not a single one of them wanted Omar Fateh as their mayor.
Well, that's a good sign.
So it's a somewhat of a sign looking up. The shooter of Charlie Kirk has been arrested. What's his name?
Tyler Robinson.
Tyler Robinson. Wasn't anything like I imagined yesterday when I violated the 72-hour rule. What we're going to discuss today is, as a result of the Charlie Kirk murder, I think some aspects of the mystery have been entirely clarified. We'll get to that in a moment, but maybe the governor's remarks, Spencer Cox is the governor of Utah, and maybe his remarks even fall into a ray of hope.
Oh, for sure.
And we've made executive decision to play his entire remarks. Is that correct?
So I have found clips from a gentleman by the name of Curtis Houck, Houck. He's the managing editor of a thing called Newsbusters, which I was not familiar with. However, he has succinctly put together clips of the closing remarks from the governor of Utah. And I watched it in real time and thought, this is one of the most impressive speeches in a time of crisis I've ever seen.
Why did you feel it necessary to take it from someone else? It's out there on the media, isn't it?
Right, but he spoke, was it 2 different times or 3 different times, Johnny, in
And this
that
was
press
all
conference?
this morning, correct?
Correct, at about 9 a.m. our time.
Yeah, his last speech was pretty lengthy. The cool speech, the one that I think hit everything.
That's what I was
So
getting
we're going
to
to hear the best parts?
So we're going to hear what's called the closing remarks, and each one of these is about a minute or so long, but I think it's really worth them playing because, as I told you earlier, Joe, off the air, this is straight out of GL, and I'm a big fan of this guy just based upon the speech today.
I think it's important that we, with eyes wide open, understand what's happening in our country today. I've heard people say, well, why are we so invested in this? There's violence happening all across our country, and violence is tragic everywhere. And every life taken is a child of God who deserves our love and respect and dignity. This is certainly about the tragic death, assassination, political assassination of Charlie Kirk. but it is also much bigger than an attack on an individual.
Yeah.
It is an attack on all of us. It is an attack on the American experiment. It is an attack on our ideals. This cuts to the very foundation of who we are, of who we have been, and who we could be in better times. Political violence is different than any other type of violence for lots of different reasons. One, because in the very act that Charlie championed of expression, that freedom of expression that is enshrined in our founding documents, in having his life taken in that very act, makes it more difficult for people to feel like they can share their ideas, that they can speak freely. We will never be able to solve all the other problems, including the violence problems that people are worried about, if we can't have a clash of ideas safely and securely. Even, especially those ideas with which you disagree. That's why this matters so much.
Bear with me.
Over the last 48 hours, I have been as angry as I have ever been, as sad as I have ever been. And it was, as anger pushed me to the brink, it was actually Charlie's words that pulled me back. I'd like to share some of those. And specifically right now, if I could, I need to talk to the young people in our state, in my state, and all across the country. As President Trump reminded me, he said, you know who really loved Charlie? The youths. And he's right. Young people loved Charlie, and young people hated Charlie. And Charlie went into those places anyway. And these are the words that have helped me. Charlie said, when people stop talking, that's when you get violence. He said, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. The only way out of the labyrinth of suffering is to forgive. Welcome without judgment, love without condition, forgive without limit. He said, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. A few months ago, I referenced this last night, Charlie posted to social media, when things are moving very fast and people are losing their minds, it's important to stay grounded. Turn off your phone, read scripture, spend time with friends, and remember, internet fury is not real life. It's going to be okay. He again said, when you stop having a human connection with someone you disagree with, it becomes a lot easier to commit violence. He said, what we as a culture have to get back to is being able to have a reasonable agreement, where violence is not an option. Now, again, to my young friends out there, you are inheriting a country where politics feels like rage. It feels like rage is the only option. But through those words, we have a reminder that we can choose a different path. Your generation has an opportunity to build a culture that is very different than what we are suffering through right now. Not by pretending differences don't matter, but by embracing our differences and having those hard conversations. I think we need more moral clarity right now. I hear all the time that words are violence. Words are not violence. Violence is violence. And there is one person responsible for what happened here. And that person is now in custody and will be charged soon and will be held accountable. And yet all of us have an opportunity right now to do something different. I want to thank my fellow Utahns. This bad stuff happens. For 33 hours, I was praying that if this had to happen here, that it wouldn't be one of us, that somebody drove from another state, somebody came from another country. Sadly, that prayer was not answered the way I had hoped for, just because I thought it would make it easier on us if we could just say, hey, we don't do that here. And indeed, Utah is a special place. We lead the nation in charitable giving. We lead the nation in service every year. But it did happen here. And it was one of us. But I want you to look at how Utahns reacted the last 2 nights. There was no rioting. There was no looting. There were no cars set on fire. There was no violence. There were vigils and prayers and people coming together to share the humanity. And that, ladies and gentlemen, I believe is the answer to this. We can return violence with violence. We can return hate with hate. And that's the problem with political violence, is it metastasizes, because we can always point the finger at the other side. And at some point, we have to find an off-ramp, or it's going to get much, much worse. But see, these are choices that we can make. History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country. But every single one of us gets to choose right now if this is a turning point for us.
Last one.
We get to make decisions. We have our agency. And I desperately call on every American, Republican, Democrat, liberal, progressive, conservative, MAGA, all of us to please, please, please follow what Charlie taught me. I'll just conclude with words I share often from a friend and author, Yuval Levin, who was asked if he was optimistic about our country. And he said, I'm not optimistic. He said, I hate optimism. Like, that sounds bad. But he said, optimism is a vice. It's this idea that good things are just going to happen. And he said, in the history of the world, good things have never just happened. He says, I'm not optimistic, but I am hopeful. And hope is the virtue that sits between the vices of optimism and pessimism. Hope is the idea that good things are going to happen because we can make them so. I still believe in our country. And I know Charlie Kirk believed in our country. I still believe that there is more good among us than evil. And I still believe that we can change the course of history. I'm hopeful because Americans can make it so.
Spencer Cox is a lawyer by trade, one of 8 kids, grew up on a farm in Fairview, Utah. He and his wife have 4 kids. They live on a farm in Utah. He's a Republican, often referred to as a moderate Republican. I don't see what was so special about that. I'm sure Governor Walz could have written those similar words.
Oh, my God.
So he's setting me up perfectly to talk about something today that I do know about, and that's the mystery. And I think we've gotten, and with Spencer's help, gotten a great new and very simple way to understand the mystery. And I'll get to it. But first, I want to remind you that winter's on the way despite the weekend weather forecast. And if you're experiencing garage door trouble or if you need a new door, now's the time to get a hold of Precision Door MN. The new doors will, they have models for every budget, and they send out a new door designer. That estimate and consultation is absolutely free of charge. But if your existing door is serving you well, but it's making a little racket, they got something pretty good here. It's called the Noisy Door Tune-Up Special for $149. It's nearly a $300 value. The special includes a 25-point safety inspection and diagnostic full garage door tune-up, rollers replaced with ultra-quiet rollers. As I said, a value of close to $300. Get ready for the cooler weather ahead, either with a new door or the maintenance that you need on your existing door. You don't want to go out there in the dead of winter and that door won't work. Book online at Precision Door MN, one word, precisiondoormn.com, or call Precision Door at 612-263-6985.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
Let's talk about my friends at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. 1 week, Joe. 1 week today marks my introduction to Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Down 7 pounds. Thanks for complimenting me on my fine physique. And you know what? Here's the thing. It's a plan and a program that's fit for everybody. Doesn't matter if you're busy or if you're sedentary. Doesn't matter. It's the proven weight loss program that's built for anyone. No medications, no workouts required. And also, there's no fasting. No, you eat to lose weight with a solution that's worked for over 800,000 people. This morning, I had a mango smoothie. I was supposed to have my barbecue crisps for my mid-morning snack, but then I got caught fighting with Joe and Kenny, so that didn't happen. However, it's a program that's built for anybody, and you also have weekly coaching that helps you with your accountability and also adjustments. So here's the deal. You can go on vacation still. You can still tailgate. You can still even have drinks. It's adapted for you and any lifestyle. So go to their website. It's Awaken 180, 180, Awaken180weightloss.com, or for that consultation, call them directly at 844-346-1800 and tell them that Garage Logic sent you. Joe?
Okay, the mystery has been an attempt to bring about a different country. That's as simple a sentence as we've ever arrived at for the mystery. In the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder, no one can help but see the ghoulish responses of people in this country who were taking glee in this. I mean, even if I went on there to find a golf video, I was exposed to this unbelievable vitriol and joy, people having joy at this. And we learned that among them are Ilhan Omar. Let me get that for you to make it, to clarify. She thinks it's effed up for people to remember Charlie Kirk for his good deeds.
Of course she does.
She doesn't. She's a foul gal, and we'll get to the reason why in just a minute. Erin May Quaid, who represents the Apple Valley area, same thing. She believes that this was. Well, what does she believe?
She retweeted some folks that had some pretty nasty things to say.
Yeah, and she's. It's a shame she's a representative in Minnesota. You got Jasmine Crockett in Texas. They're all over the place. Here's the mystery. Mysterians believe you must only say what they believe in. It's worse than that. You're not allowed to say anything they disagree with. I think the failed academy is greatly complicit in this.
Yeah.
It might have been one of the reasons Kirk was bumped off. His focus was the college campus. He'd go in and you either agreed with him or disagreed with him, but opinions are legal in this country. Not to the mystery. Your opinion must coincide with theirs. Your beliefs must coincide with Ilhan Omar and Erin May Quaid, whoever the hell she is. And these ghoulish people in this country that, whether they know it or not, have attached themselves to the mystery. They're playing right into the hands of Mysterians because there is no better way to fundamentally end what Spencer Cox, the governor of Utah, called the American experiment, which is why the American experiment is named what it is here in the Twin Cities. There's no better way to end this wonderful and fantastic and successful American experiment than to forbid people to have their own thinking. And that's exactly what the mystery commands. It commands you that their way is the only way. And if I say a man is a man and a woman is a woman, that would be considered hate speech by this Erin May Quaid. It would be considered.
Their key words. Anything that you disagree with them with, you're immediately called. It's called hate speech.
And that isn't hateful. That's merely me expressing what I believe to be a fact. I wouldn't even call it an opinion. There's X and Y chromosomes that stay with you all your life, no matter if you wear a dress or don't wear a dress. So it's not hateful, but this is how the mystery has turned themselves into the agents of people wanting to change this country. If you are not allowed to disagree with the people in power, and Mysterians would wish themselves to be in power, if you do not agree with them, then you have lost all your freedom. You have no freedom. You have no right to pursue your own happiness. You are subject to whatever the mystery commands you to speak. Those are Mysterians. I wish we could go back, Rook, and find the first show in which we even mentioned the word mystery. It's getting to be a long time ago.
Yeah, it is.
This has been fomenting for a long time. It becomes clear with each new development. It becomes clear with each new tragedy. It becomes clear with each new killing. I'll refrain from suggesting I know what was going through the mind of this shooter because I don't. I I had a more fantastical notion of what took place yesterday that proved to be foolish on my part. But what is not foolish on my part is my knowledge of the mystery and watching it happening right in front of us. And the mystery, the things that I saw on social media were obscene and ghoulish and frightening and eerie, that people are that far gone. They're that far gone. And they have become acolytes of the mystery in believing that they can only utter the beliefs that they've picked up along the way from their failed Mysterians. And I'm holding the failed academy greatly accountable for this. Let's go back to Kirk. I have found myself, I'm sure I could have found videos where he said something I might have disagreed with. I didn't. I'm sure there are some people found him disagreeable, which is fine. You're allowed to find him disagreeable, and you're allowed to find him agreeable. Right. But I bet I watched 25 to 50 videos of him on various college campuses, and he had a real knack for entertainment. He had a real knack for humor. And what he would do is what he was doing Wednesday. He'd sit down with his microphone, and the crowd would show up, and he'd say, "Prove me wrong." And someone would come up and debate with him on when is a baby a human being, and then he'd get some gal in a rainbow-colored hair arguing with him that they're not babies, they're just clumps of cells. And he would go on and break down why her thinking was distorted. Right. And invariably what I noticed in all these videos is that he left the students speechless. They had no comeback. I also, unfortunately, noted that many, many kids on college campuses really are unable to articulate their points.
And that's what's under attack
It's really
here.
a shame.
That's what's under attack.
What is under attack?
Just the fact that discussion is now held under suspicion.
Because it does not hold up the wish of the Mysterians. The Mysterians don't like America. Therefore, they find the American experiments time has run out. They wish to change it. They don't believe in capitalism. They don't believe in the kind of freedoms that you're accustomed to. They've learned much of this in the failed academy. They can learn much of it from their elected representatives. Ilhan Omar, I am very comfortable in saying, does not like this country. I realize that places her in the great position of hypocrisy, but she doesn't like this country. Even though it's enriched her and given her a home and nurtured her and cared for her and elected her, she doesn't like the country. And she gave herself away. Well, she gives herself away quite frequently. But she really, really showed us her official Mysterian membership card. By pointing out that she thinks it's just absolutely folly that anybody gives a bleep about Charlie Kirk. Well, she doesn't give a bleep about Charlie Kirk because she doesn't believe that he should be saying the things he does because she disagrees with them.
Right.
So she is not allowing her opponents to disagree with her. She condemns her opponents if they, in fact, disagree with her. That's the end of freedom.
She apparently, from what I'm interpreting, also hates civil debate. Her quote, "There are a lot of people who are talking about him," Kirk, "just wanting to have a civil debate. These people are full of S."
I'm reading it right now, yeah.
And it's important for us to call them out
Yeah.
while we feel anger and sadness.
Right.
Just to debate, Ilhan. Well, just to talk.
Well, that would require her to actually talk to somebody, which she doesn't do.
But if the mystery succeeds in taking over, that is the future young people in this country face. Charlie Kirk was a fan almost exclusively of young people. by Young, and I'm just going to make it up because I could be wrong, but I'm saying 15 to 30.
Okay.
That seemed to be his focus was on, and then particularly on college campuses, where and look at how novel it was for a guy with conservative thoughts to be present on a college campus.
Yeah, I've been thinking that too myself.
In many cases, it was met with terror by these students who have been so proselytized, so brainwashed, and so their thinking has become so corrupted by the mystery that they're forgetting that if they go down the road of the mystery, are they willing to surrender their freedom? Because you don't have freedom if you can't disagree in the marketplace of ideas. If you're not allowed to disagree,
We're
are
bleeped.
your humanity has been reduced. You are not a free human being. You're not the free human being that the clump of cells grew into. And
let's not go down.
no, I'm not. And we saw some of the people, even on national television news shows, were so foul with their responses to Kirk's death that they've been fired. Some guy named Matthew Dowd, I don't know who he is.
MSNBC.
Right, I know he was with MSNBC because I'm reading it. And he called the conservative views expressed by Kirk hate speech. Well, it's so would Aaron May Quaid. So would Omar. Hate speech to them is that which they will not tolerate.
And it's anything that they don't politically align with. That's hate speech.
There was also an assistant dean of students from a college that got gas for
I think
what
it was
she
at
said.
Middle Tennessee State.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Have you noticed, too, that
Let me finish.
I'm
Middle
sorry.
Tennessee State fired its former assistant dean, Laura Lightsey, Wednesday after she stated on Facebook that she has zero sympathy for Kirk, and she believed that, and then we have another one. Charles H.F. Davis, a professor at the University of Michigan, wrote on X that Kirk's assassination is the solution to violent rhetoric spewed by empowered people. So to the Mysterians, it's violent rhetoric to believe in conventional ideals of Americanism. That's violence. And we'll note that the failed academy is not going to be short of people that can be produced who either have been fired or, if they work for me, should be fired for not allowing someone to have an opinion. It's incredible, but that's where the mystery is today. On September 12th, 2025, there's the mystery. The mystery is the gathering of people who want to create a country. I don't even know what the word would be. They want to create an existence where only their thoughts are going to be approved.
Right.
What I do know for sure is that, Charlie was someone who once said, guns save lives. After a school shooting. Charlie was someone who was willing to debate and downplay the death of George Floyd in the hands of Minneapolis police.
I think he called him a scumbag.
Right, have no regard, downplay slavery and what Black people have gone through in this country by saying Juneteenth should never exist. And I think, there are a lot of people who are out there talking about him just wanting to have a civil debate.
Complete rewriting of history.
So she found a friendly interviewer, huh?
I think it was the same gentleman that she was.
No, I think she was being interviewed by a show in Britain.
Oh, is that what it was?
She doesn't make herself available to the local press, for example.
Sure.
But everything she told you there was taken completely out of context.
Yeah, it'd be fun to fact check every single bullet point she brought up there.
Yeah, if only we had the staff.
Can you imagine that living in the United States, whatever it might be called at this point, when And you had to agree with Ilhan Omar that her picture was in schools and in courthouses, which then would be practicing Sharia law. Can you imagine living your life in America under the mystery?
No.
Well, because it wouldn't be life in America.
But that's where we're teetering upon currently, especially in this state. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think this state is the slide you put under the microscope to study to see what can happen.
Yeah, and you can go over to Europe and see what's happened there, and they're just starting to push back now. A little too late.
I think it's too late. I do agree that they've waited way too long to push back.
And why? Because they were afraid of being labeled as what? Islamophobic.
Yeah.
Assign every other characteristic to it. That's what they were afraid of.
They want free speech as long as it agrees with their rhetoric. Anything that doesn't is hate speech, like Joe.
I think the most reasonable person I've seen speak about this, there's a clip from a Christian therapist who is African American speaking about it because he said, all of his friends are saying to him, well, I'm not going to have any sympathy for him. Look what he said, And he said, as a Christian, he said, you can't do that.
Right.
He said, you must have sympathy for his family. You must have sympathy for a young man dying at that age. You don't have to agree with what he said. That's not the point.
That's not the point.
The point is to be a Christian, and not playing both ends of the game, if that makes sense.
It does.
But there's two things can be true in one situation.
Yes, they can.
I guess that would be the way to say it. So if you disagreed with Charlie, you disagreed with Charlie.
That's life in America.
Yeah,
that's the experiment.
But he doesn't get shot, and you don't.
You don't get to shoot him.
Yeah, there's no political violence against Charlie because you disagreed with him. That can't happen with anybody in America.
And by the way, had that been a left-wing commentator on a college campus who was shot, there probably would have been burning and looting.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that the governor of Utah pointed out that, did you note that we were calm?
The two sets of reactions.
Yeah,
for sure.
Just before I take the break, I got to tell you that, I think I'm going to be struck by lightning for saying this. But you know who else had very reasonable, sound remarks about this along the lines of Spencer Cox? Bernie Sanders.
Oh, I did not see those.
I did see that, yes.
They were very reasonable, well-spoken, and well thought out. Now, again, I'm afraid to go outside now because I might get struck by lightning.
Hey, if you don't like America, then you can get it.
Say, that weekend forecast is begging for a bike ride. I hope you've been to EcoFun Motorsports in Forest Lake / Columbus or down in Burnsville on the Service Road of Life near County Road 42. EcoFun is the electric bike capital of the world. Great selection of every kind of recreational equipment you can imagine, including really great motorcycles, scooters, gas-powered youth recreational equipment, side-by-side, 4x4s. I suppose that winter equipment will be showing up anytime soon, but that's fun too. Get you outside, get you some cylinders. They have helmets, apparel, and a great service department. But really, you get to that store in Forest Lake / Columbus. It was new about 2 years ago. It's just a big toy box. It's on Highway 97, immediately west of 35. And they also have a really dangerous website. I mean, you get on there and you're cooked. You'll run out there like I have done a couple of times. You end up with stuff.
Yes.
EcoFunMotorsports.com.
I was 17, my old man was 55. If you do the math between the two of us, that's 72 years of life. An eternity, so it seemed to me. How could anything live that long? Now say my folks were only 84 the year that they passed on. For a little while it seems you got time to choose your dreams. Pretty soon you look around and you see 100 years ain't what it used to be. And my grandpa Roy, when he was a boy in 1904, he was taught by men who fought in the actual Civil War. And only 8 decades passed, and my high school class put the tassels on the other side. Started on our way full of naivete on the great American ride. The months and years slide past, each more quickly than the last. Pretty soon you look around and you'll see 100 years ain't what it used to be. Oh, got it!
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, Johnny, hey! Oh, yeah!
He did the guitar face.
Ibuprofen's under buy again in my online shopping cart. Every week I learn of something else I should be doing for my heart. If I use the wrong pillow, I might have trouble getting out of bed.
The Earth is not your mother. The Joe Souchere Show.
You know what I've concluded? We're nuts. No, we are nuts. And we are nutsmn.com. Hey, UGLers, by the way.
I'm already exhausted my jar of those almonds.
Well, and Kenny tried to bogart my entire thing of cashews. Thank God I got in the way of that, nonsense happening. But here's the deal.
Should have taken the other exit.
Yes,
That was
you should
my
have.
fault.
It was your fault.
You
You had
know,
a bad
them
escape
almonds
plan.
keep you pretty regular.
Okay.
Well, I just thought I'd say it. I
I'm
mean,
sure the
it's,
family
it's a hell of a
appreciates-
healthy food.
Anyway.
Here's what you do right now, GLers. Through the end of the month of September, you can walk into any one of the Kowalski's markets and Lunds and Barley's because We Are Nuts are on sale right now. 25% off.
Where?
At Lunds and Barley's and Kowalski. So stock up.
Oh, boy.
It's almost like you're hibernating, like you're a big giant squirrel.
Yeah.
And you're trying to hibernate for
Yeah.
the winter months. And you know what? It's a fantastic product, and it's a family-owned operation. And they make those wonderful snacks right here in the great state of Minnesota. So go to Lunds and Barley's. And if you're not in the area, go to Fratelloni's. It doesn't matter. But if you're outstate, go to wearenutsmn.com. I got to stock up on the cinnamon toffee peanuts, by the way. What's the closest Kowalski's or Lunds and Barley's to the station right now?
Right on Grand Avenue.
Okay, you're getting a visit from yours truly after the show today. But please do me a favor if you place your order online, let them know that you heard about We Are Nuts, courtesy of the Garage Logic podcast.
Here's John Hyde in his newsroom.
Thank you, Joe. This news brought to you by North American Banking Company. We've told you about the arrest. Now let's give you some details. Officials have identified the person accused of fatally shooting Charlie Kirk as 22-year-old Utah resident Tyler Robinson. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said at a press conference this morning, investigators arrested and identified Robinson after analyzing surveillance footage, interviewing Robinson's family members, and reviewing online messages between Robinson and his roommate. Cox said a family member of Robinson's reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with info that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident. According to the governor, investigators interviewed a family member of Robinson's who said he had, quote, become more political in recent years. The family member referenced a recent incident in which Robinson came to dinner prior to September 10th, and in the conversation with another family member, Robinson mentioned Charlie Kirk was coming to UVU. The governor then said they talked about why they didn't like him and the viewpoints he had. Cox said that investigators interviewed Robinson's roommate, who showed authorities messages on Discord between Robinson and his roommate. Those messages, associated with the name Tyler, state, quote, a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point, leaving the rifle in a bush, engraving bullets, and having left the rifle wrapped in a towel. Authorities said today they recovered a high-powered bolt-action rifle in a wooded area just off of the university campus in conditions that matched Robinson's messages. The rifle was a Mauser Model 9830 odd 6 caliber, 36 caliber bolt-action rifle, had a scope mounted on top of it. He added that inscriptions engraved on casings found with the rifle. One of the inscriptions had the lyrics to the Italian folk song Bella Ciao, Cox said. Another read, "Hey fascists, catch," and an up arrow, a right arrow, and 3 down arrows, and a third stated, "If you read this, you are gay, LMAO."
Should we adopt, I don't know, a protocol of not reporting those? I don't mean you, John, specifically.
Oh, that's an
but
interesting topic.
He wants everybody to, hey, you fascist, you guys all suck. Why do we?
I was going to bring that up, Matthew.
You're a good point.
Earlier in the program, we proved that we're brilliant surgeons. Now let's go into the mental health aspect.
Yes.
Don't you think him etching things on the bullet and then leaving the firearm out there and then hinting to friends and neighbors and parents that he wanted to be caught, he wanted to be known for this, he wants to be a hero and or martyr?
And
Yes.
to the point, Kenny, too, where I think he also probably wants to die as a result, so that he'll become
a martyr.
Yes,
for
100%.
whatever his cause is. John, you said 30-06, right?
Yes.
Okay, I wanted to just show this for the camera. Here is a 30-06 round.
That's a big
Here
one.
is the standard round that you find in in what's called an AR. Look at the size difference.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And that is just a hunting rifle, that 30-06 bolt action.
So
Widely
is
used
that
in the Vietnam War by one Charlie Hathcock. the
And Bob Lee
sniper.
Swagger.
Yeah, and Swagger.
So, Kenny, is that normal ammunition
Yeah.
for that rifle?
Yeah.
That's a deer
Yeah.
hunting rifle.
Yep.
Now, wouldn't the fact that he left it wrapped in a bush somewhere, if it's his dad's rifle, wouldn't his dad say, "Where the hell's my rifle"?
His dad turned him in.
Well, it was his dad who turned
No,
him
but I
in.
mean, him
no,
thinking
I know.
by-
I know.
Yeah.
So he wanted to get caught.
Yeah, I think you're right, Matt. He wanted to get caught.
Searches of state and national public records associated with Robinson's name and date of birth found no indication of a prior criminal record. Public records indicate his last voter registration date was July 13th, 2021. No political party declared. He went to Utah State University for 1 semester in 2021, according to a spokesperson at the university. In local news, a Minneapolis City Council member who's spending the rest of his term on the East Coast for a Harvard University fellowship was stripped of 2 top committee assignments on Thursday, and then it got complicated after that. Jeremiah Ellison, who represents Ward 5 on the city's north side, had been absent from the council chamber since mid-August to pursue a paid 1-year fellowship through Harvard's Graduate School of Design, but he was present yesterday as the full council voted on shuffling the membership of several committees assigned to Ellison. A resolution that passed by a 7-5 vote removed Ellison from the Administration and Enterprise Oversight Committee, the Business, Housing and Zoning Committee, and the Public Health and Safety Committee. He retained his place on the Budget Committee, the Committee of the Whole, and the Special Committee on Intergovernmental Relations, which comprises all 13 council members. No, not comprises. Comprises all 13 council members.
Or compromise. That
That'd
might
be-
have worked too.
It'd be a whole different thing, wouldn't it?
That's what we call a Freudian slip.
Well, council people ended up getting put on committees they had no interest in serving on.
Yeah, in fact, let me just skip right to that part there. To avoid changing committee structures and reducing quorum, each of Ellison's assignments were backfilled by another council member. For instance, our gal, Ward 4 council member Latricia Vital, was pushed to replace Ellison on 2 committees, Business, Housing and Zoning, and Public Health Safety, that would not otherwise have representation from the north side. In the end, Vital was tapped to take Ellison's place on the Business, Housing and Zoning Committee, while council member Michael Rainville, who represents Ward 3, was pushed out. The decision to remove Ellison from his committee assignments didn't happen without controversy. Ellison saying, I think we should move forward with the understanding everybody is doing their job. Everybody is doing their job full time, and we shouldn't operate with any other assumption. Rainville was not happy with the decision to be removed from the Business, Housing and Zoning Committee, saying, quote, it's an affront to me. You're trying to be mean to me. He accused council membership of punishing him because of his long-standing ties to downtown businesses. He said, I'm being silenced because of my support of the business community. I'm being silenced to represent the taxpayers of Ward 3. That's what the people of Ward 3 told me to vote that way, and now you're punishing me for that. Shame on you. Vital not happy either. She said, as a Northside council member, all I asked for was to replace the 2 seats that were not going to have a Northsider sitting on them. She said she didn't want to take Rainville's spot on the committee. Other committee changes involved adding Council President Elliot Payne to the Administration and Enterprise Oversight, placing Council Member Jason Chavez on the BHZ Committee, adding Council Member Howard Chaudhary to the Public Health and Safety Committee, and removing her from the Climate and Infrastructure Committee.
Where'd Chuggy end up?
Chug Tai, Council Vice President, she didn't move around, but she did have something to say. Council Vice President Aisha Chug Tai dismissed Rainville and Vital's concerns, saying, quote, democracy is messy.
It sounds like the kiddos at preschool didn't get their lunch or their nap, and they're running amok there in preschool and running into walls and tripping over each other. Meanwhile, the most troubled ward in the city, Ward 5, bordered on the north by Lowry, south by Bassett Creek, which is in between Plymouth Avenue, between Glenwood and 394. They don't have anybody representing them. You can't walk into his office. You can't meet him on the corner. You can't talk to him. He's not doing the most troubled ward in the city.
He's a slob, by the way.
Who's that?
Ellison.
He's
a slob. He wears a hat during council meetings. That just drives me crazy. He's
That's number one
He's
on your
bush
list.
That's all you need to know. He wears a hat.
Well, he's not here, so who are we going to bitch at?
I wonder if he wears the hat indoors at Harvard, because that's really bush league.
I wonder if he wears his Harvard tie, like, oh, sure, he went to Harvard.
Right.
It's so funny, though, to see the chickens coming home to roost with that whole city council. What a disaster.
I've decided, no matter what anyone's told me to this point, we're going to take a break now. So why don't we
John made an executive decision.
Yes, he did, and I'm very glad that he did, so we can hear from our guy, Kenny Olson.
Okay, because I want to talk about this note one more time this week that I got from Steven, the chief roaster and proprietor at customroasting.net. I glossed over something, and you guys might not know it, but first of all, the note, he said he rode his motorbike from Buffalo, Minnesota up to Ferrata and back. Quoting, when I got home, I sprayed Bugs Be Gone on the windscreen, and after waiting a couple of minutes and then wiping clean, the bugs were gone. Now, that's great, Stephen, and we're going to touch on that. But first, the most amazing part of that note is the fact that Stephen actually drove himself away from Ferrata. Most people have to call Sober Cab or Uber, the fire department, or have somebody come pick them up from county lockup. So good job, Stephen. You got out of there sober. Now back to Bugs Be Gone. The weather, I know it's miserable. It's intolerable. It's hot again. And that means the bugs are back, and the Bugs Be Gone needs to be in the daily driver until at least after Thanksgiving. And then that period, maybe that day after Thanksgiving, stock up on a bunch of Bugs Be Gone so you can give them as Christmas gifts. I know you're going to get a funny look at Christmas, but then you'll get praise and thanks next summer. It's the easiest way to clean bugs and organic material from all surfaces. Like Steven said, spray it on, wait a couple of minutes, wipe it clean. Viola, bugs are gone. Another wonderful product from Seafoam.
You cannot stop him. He'll just make a move. Joe Soucheray.
Let's talk about our friends at North American Banking Company, who have adapted one simple philosophy since 1998, and that's this. It's banking done differently, ladies and gentlemen, and you feel that anytime that you walk into any one of their 6 Twin Cities locations. It doesn't matter whether it's Roseville, 50th in France, Hastings, Woodbury, Shoreview, and Maple Grove. They offer all of the services as the other big national banks, whether you're looking to buy a home, perhaps finance a new home renovation project, or get that new car that you're trying to hide from your wife. Well, my friends at North American Banking Company are going to be able to help you out, and they also offer all of the same online and mobile banking options as the other banks, but the difference is you're going to get the unparalleled service of a community bank. They're friendly, they're here to work with you, and they're also here to help out your business. So check them out online today. It's nabankco.com to learn more. Once again, it's banking done differently. North American Banking Company, member FDIC, is an equal housing lender. Johnny?
Thank you, Chris. One more local story before we get to the national stuff. A 72-year-old Duluth man arrested last night after allegedly threatening to shoot the windows of Laura MacArthur Elementary School in Duluth, according to police. The man arrested, he's in the St. Louis County Jail pending charges for threats of violence. Officers with the search warrant found a shotgun, SKS assault rifle, and ammunition, which were taken from his house in the 5500 block of West 6th Street. He has not been named yet. He's not been charged. The man's house within sight of the school's property has several signs on a chain link fence around his yard related to disabled veterans, including a plea to Americans to help disabled veterans. He has no significant recent charges on his record. Laura McCarthy Elementary School is on North Central Avenue in the Cody neighborhood. An unmarked police car parked outside the school around noon today.
The only thing I'm taking out of that story is who the hell was Laura MacArthur?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah,
I have no
I don't
clue.
know. What famous person is she?
You want me to look it up?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that you used the term assault rifle, John, and you got that directly from the gal that wrote the story.
That's correct, yes.
Krista Lawler. And I just want to remind her that all firearms, every single one of them, from BB gun up to cannons, are assault rifles.
Maybe she's a left-wing activist.
Fox 21 Online has this guy's mugshot.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Rode hard, put away wet.
Oh, boy.
They should make a space for him and keep him around for a while.
Come on, sit next to me. Woofda.
A 16-year-old student who authorities say opened fire at his Colorado high school on Wednesday, wounding 2 classmates and then turning the gun on himself, was believed to be, quote, radicalized by some extremist network, according to officials with the local sheriff's office. This all happened Wednesday afternoon in Jefferson County at Evergreen High School. 3 students taken to the hospital in critical condition after the gunfire, including the suspected shooter, who was injured by a self-inflicted gunshot wound. An image of the shooter released by officials at the time. He was identified as 16-year-old Desmond Holly. Officials determined the weapon was a revolver that was, in their words, fired a lot. Shots could be seen fired at windows and lockers on video, according to authorities. The suspect allegedly went through the school trying to find new targets, but came upon roadblocks as doors were locked, and he could not keep shooting, according to the sheriff's department. While authorities are still looking into the shooter's motive, they think he was radicalized and that he had a mission, in his words. Authorities said they are trying to better understand the network he was radicalized by and are searching his phone, home, and locker to learn more on who was communicating with him before the shooting.
Joe, I have your answer.
Mm-hmm.
Laura MacArthur was an elementary and junior high school teacher and principal in West Duluth for over 4 decades.
Oh, wonderful.
Born in England, she came to the United States with her family at around the age of 10. She attended high school in Wooster, Ohio.
Is this a long account?
And then graduated there. I just thought that was neat.
I think it's nice they've honored one of their own.
They honored a teacher. I think that's very cool.
The majority of Brazil's 5-justice Supreme Court panel voted yesterday to convict former President Jair Bolsonaro of plotting a military coup to stay in office after his electoral loss. The 70-year-old who led the country from 2019 to 2022 was sentenced to 27 years and 3 months in prison. A trial has divided Brazilian society since Bolsonaro was indicted in February. Thousands gathered Sunday in dueling Independence Day rallies for and against the nationalist populist leader. He has been under house arrest since August following accusations that he attempted to interfere with court proceedings. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer fired the country's ambassador to the United States yesterday. That fellow is Peter Mandelson. He was fired over his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Just days before the arrival of President Trump to the UK on his second state visit, Starmer dismissed the veteran British politician in the wake of the publication of emails that Mandelson sent to Epstein, in which he gave his support to Epstein even when he was facing jail for sex offenses. Foreign Office Minister Steve Dowdy told Parliament the emails pointed to the depth and extent of Mandelson's relationship with Epstein being materially different from what was known when he was appointed ambassador to Washington after last year after the Labor Party's election victory.
Here's what Epstein news results in. Who are the Vikes playing this Sunday?
Yeah,
I think it's Atlanta.
Yes.
Yes.
At night.
At home.
Okay, thank you.
I was thinking about duck hunting myself.
Yeah.
I was
Chris?
reading it and I was thinking about guitars.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about that Nook burger.
Yeah.
Oh God,
Who had a
that was
Nook
so
burger?
good.
Johnny Height.
When was he over there?
When his car worked.
Yeah, yesterday I had to take the significant other to a doctor's appointment, and we got done, and we said, you know what?
Yeah.
Let's go get a Nook burger. We haven't had one in years.
Clean bill of health. Let's go get a burger.
She went to the doctor, and he cleared her to have a Nook burger.
Well, she went to a neurologist. It had nothing to do with it.
Did you eat upstairs or downstairs?
There's only one level.
I was going to say it.
What am I
You're
talking about?
Yeah, you're
Matthew?
talking about Ranham. You can bring food downstairs.
Well, why would
Okay.
you?
I actually have
Watch people bowl.
audio from that appointment.
Is it the number of amateur ophthalmologists?
That was the beginning of the end,
I
wasn't
think
it?
John better have some time here to conclude.
Okay, I'm going to go right to this story. I know how much you like. Is it octopi? Is that the plural?
I don't
Octopi.
know. I think they're a wonderful creature.
This story actually says octopuses, so I'm
Yeah.
going to go with that. Did you know they can use their flexible arms to walk?
Hell
hold
yes,
and,
I did.
How about hold and manipulate things?
Yeah, they can write.
and reach into crevices.
Yep.
Now researchers have delved into the complexity of their limbs and say their findings might help improve the development of soft, flexible robotic arms that could even save lives.
That's what I'm talking about.
Made up of 4 muscle groups around a central nerve, octopus arms are a marvel, the scientists say, but they're not very well understood yet. Said they know they use octopuses use their arms, for lots of different things, including moving around, hunting, eating, and fighting, but how they coordinate is still unclear.
Yeah, they got it. They can do it.
A new study published in the journal Nature Scientific Reports, researchers analyzed 25 videos in their natural habitat to see which arms they used for 15 different behaviors. Their findings show that the animals can use all their arms to execute all the tasks, but they do have a preference. Kendra Burasech said they use their front arms more frequently than their back arms for most behaviors. The front forearms were used 64% of the time compared to 36% for the back arms.
They can reach around with their back arms, right?
See, they can do anything. Yeah.
I
see what he's doing.
I prefer to call them Kraken. That's what they are.
Yes.
The Kraken.
I saw a video of a juvenile elephant being given a drink of water from a guy's water bottle.
Mm-hmm.
And when the juvenile got done with the water, the mom elephant came over and gave the guy a little up nod.
Oh,
cool.
Like to thank him. So it's a tie for me between octopus and elephant, which animal I love the most.
Have you, on the weekend, they rerun Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom?
I'm unaware of that.
Where they virtually murder these elephants
don't
so they
hurt
can
an
tag them, and then they bring them back to life with some kind of serum.
Yeah.
And they hobble around all woozy and drunk for the rest of their lives.
I
can't believe we watched that in the 70s.
If you want to be severely entertained, watch Drunk Elephants on YouTube, where they get the fermented fruit and just get all wobbly and stuff.
Don't be mocking my
What's
elephants.
going on over there, man? That looks
Don't
like
be
a
mocking my elephants.
All right, I'm sorry.
All right. Say, if you're thinking about moving your business, expanding, starting a new one, consider Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Voted the #1 best small city for business and careers by Forbes magazine. It's one of the most South Dakota is one of the most business-friendly states in the country. And the place to take advantage of these incentives is Sioux Falls, nearly 300,000 people, really centrally located. It's the state's largest city. Sioux Falls has low business costs with a high quality of life, and there's no state, corporate, or personal income tax, no inheritance tax, and no limits to what your business can achieve. They welcome entrepreneurs with open arms. Those kinds of people might be held in suspicion in other states, not in South Dakota. Learn everything you need to know at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Rookie's going to get ripped. Let's go
Hey, Pat.
Oh, hang tight. That's not on Patrick. That's on the producer. Patrick.
Yes.
How are you?
I am just fine on this gorgeous day.
It's a beautiful day.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Green Bay's got a nice football team. You know what? They got Pat a good group.
What was that final? I only watched part of the first half.
27 to 18, but the 18, the last 8 were.
It was garbage time. It was an ass kicking.
They held Daniels down pretty well, huh? Defensively.
Yeah, that's a good club, unfortunately.
Well, they were. I didn't think they were that good last week when I watched them, but they usually get better in week 2. So Jordan Love looked good.
Didn't they beat the Lions
by 2 touchdowns?
How could they not look good?
Well, they're off. They had the Lions kept screwing up, right? They didn't have many yards, right, last week. The Packers.
Lions were the number 1 seed last year. Pat, remember? Come on.
Yeah,
give my Packers some credit, will you?
Frank Ragnow quit. They got about 4 other guys hurt and left, and they got raided a little bit.
Lost all the coaches.
Yes, they lost all the coaches, and the coach is going to burn out. I still predict. I thought he was. This guy's crazy, and he's going to be in the mental hospital by about November 5th. Thanksgiving, he won't be available. He'll be somewhere locked up.
I don't like coaches who celebrate their own team's touchdowns. I want the coach to stand there like Bud.
Act like you've been there before.
Act like you've scored before.
O'Connell got a little bit happy when McCarthy ran it in.
Yes, he did. I don't like that.
He kind of violated it. Yeah. You think Bud would have smirked?
Well, I think so.
On that touchdown, yeah. You think he might have right down on his side, tightened up a little fist there and gave it a little shove forward about
very subtle, very subtle. Yeah,
showing some emotion. Yes, I can. You know what Bud was better at than celebration? Anger. Anger. He was better at anger, especially at the officials. He did not like them, and that got more of emotion out of him. He's an old time athlete. He was easier to anger than happiness.
Although I did enjoy thoroughly back in 2017 when Sean Payton for the Saints started to mock the crowd with the skull chant seconds before the Vikings scored the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
That was pretty damn good.
Yes. I was in a bar in Fort Myers watching that game with a bunch of crazy, drunk Viking fans, including a bridal group that was down there on vacation, all Viking fans, and they were not the weeping blondes. They were the drunk celebrating. They all laid down on the floor in the bar and kicked their legs in the air. It was rather funny. So,
after intense consultation with your sources, anything new on Kaprizov?
No, I got to admit I have not consulted with them, but I do know that Guerin is saying it's all baloney. They're still negotiating, and that Leopold kind of confirmed that. Now, Guerin was quoted as saying what a great relationship he has with Kaprizov's agent. I'm not sure they're that happy with the agent as they were, but I still think it's all based on how much is McDavid going to get, or is McDavid not going to sign, and then Kaprizov will sign. I don't know, but what I was told a week ago was you got 3 of them. McDavid is number 1, Kaprizov's number 2, and Eichel's number 3, and they're all waiting for the other guy they're waiting for the top guy to sign, then the second guy will sign, and then the third guy will sign. So,
who do the Gophers have this weekend?
We're at Cal.
We
Cal for the night game.
We go out and play at Cal, night game. I wrote about this. I was out there with Coach Mace. Coach Mace had avoided playing any teams from the Power 5, and he got out there in 2006, the year he wound up getting fired. And that team had Deshaun Jackson and Marshawn Lynch and all these. Cal was doing some recruiting that didn't have the usual emphasis on academics there.
Pat, was Rogers on that team?
No. If he was the backup because he was a freshman or something. Because the quarterback was Nathan Longshore, who was about 6'5" and could throw it. But what I remember about that game is they give somebody from California the ball. and they'd start running around right end, and they'd see they could only make about 6 yards, so they'd turn around and run back around left end and go about 30 yards. They were so much faster. Anyway, it was 45-17, I think, 45-17.
That's in Berkeley, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Berkeley, and they California had over 500 yards that day, and that was about. It's one of the last good teams they've had. They've stuck with this guy from Wisconsin, the defensive coordinator from Wisconsin, since 2017. Even though they've been pretty mediocre, they've had 4 straight losing seasons. But you know what conference they're in now?
That's what I
don't
was
you,
just going to
Joe?
bring up.
Cal, the centrally located Atlantic Coast Conference.
Good God.
And you know, when you look up on the hill from Berkeley, you know what you see? Water headed for the Pacific Ocean.
That's right.
That makes for a lot of travel.
Cal, Stanford, and who else, Pat, from the old Pac-10 are in the ACC?
SMU.
They're in the ACC.
Cal's first volleyball series, the first time they paid for the volleyball team to play conference matches, they're in Virginia for 2 matches. And then they come home, and then they go back, and they're in Boston and New York for 2 matches.
I don't pretend to understand the reason.
I don't know I don't know why they didn't wait 10 minutes to see if the Pac-12 was going to get slapped back together, which it has. But they tried to do something legislative over there and make UCLA, which is a sister school to California, that not go into any conference that California wasn't in. And then finally the UCLA just said, the hell with it, we're going to the Big Ten, and left Cal and Stanford out there as orphans. So anyway.
Your ball club hosting the Serpents tonight.
Yes, they are. Tickets are available. And now it's interesting when Johnny's boys get here next week. Are we going to have 15,000 for the Yankees?
I bet you'll get 15,000.
Yeah, maybe.
Monday night's still going to be warm and beautiful.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, Johnny, what do you think of your Yankees? They aren't great, are they?
They are not great, and right now the bullpen is awful. So I don't see a division title.
Is that the biggest problem? Because Toronto isn't like some machine or anything, but probably have better pitching. But the Yankees. I mean, once in a while they score 12 runs and win. Outside of that,
they're hitting the ball. They bring in relievers, and all of a sudden they're down 3 or 4.
What are they? 2 games out of first?
3 games out.
3, and you're worried. I mean, they'll probably win the title.
I think at the end of May they had the best record in baseball.
They did.
And they're probably 500 or something. So,
yep, exactly.
Are you going to be here Monday?
Oh yeah, I wouldn't miss it.
It's probably our first Monday night sports talk on a Monday in a while.
I have done. I was in the Northwoods for 2 days. That'll take care of me for the next 5 years. I'm fine. So,
You know what, though? You know what you need to do as a red-blooded American on a beautiful night? You get your ass to a high school football game tonight. What a gorgeous night it's going to be for football.
I'm thinking Royce Walk with the top down.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Patrick, define Northwoods.
He was as far as Vermilion.
Oh,
Have
yeah.
you been to Vermilion?
There's too many
Lots of
trees
short.
up there, Patrick. It's really intimidating. Give me some open sky, a field.
You know that somebody told me that it has more shoreline than any lake in the state, for God's sake.
It's a big one.
So it's
But I didn't do it. All I did was ride around on a pontoon. I didn't do anything. You know?
A non-drinker on a pontoon.
Boy.
That's not any fun, is it?
It's not,
And you know what I didn't see up there? Any ducks. They don't have, maybe some bays have some ducks in them, but not out in the open water. I didn't see any ducks. Saw more eagles than I saw ducks. They got... What's with the eagles? Remember, you used to see an eagle, you'd call all your friends and relatives. Now they're like,
big
"Get
deal.
out of here,
Too many eagles.
They're all up and down Mississippi River Boulevard.
Yes.
And
Same with the
St. Paul,
loons.
Kaposia Landing.
Yeah.
The same with the loons, Patrick. Just stop it with the racket, all right? Shut up. We know you're special. Big deal.
Yeah, right, yes. And don't eat fish hooks, you dummies. Go down there and pick out your food. food, for God's sake.
So-
you got no brains at all with the hook on it.
So, Pat, you were in a part of the, as you call it, the North Woods, where when we had a golf advertiser that shall remain nameless, and Joe said, "What is that in the middle of bleeping Tickville?"
Yeah, that's where he was.
You were in Tickville, baby. I'll talk to you Monday.
No, I got to tell you guys, the previous time that I was on a big lake up there
Yeah.
was after my high school year, and Clerk had got me to go up there, basically for underage drinking, but a
Sure.
little fishing, and we were fishing on Capitogama, and I caught a little fish, and a seagull came down and grabbed the fish, and the seagull was on the hook, and it looked like whatchamacallit in The Birds in the Hitchcock movie. There was like 100. The only time I fished up there previously, I got 100 seagulls trying to kill me because I caught a seagull. That's
Not a lot of guys can say that.
You
that'll
should do
put an end to your fishing. You know?
Royce, you and I, we should do an outdoor show. I think we could have a lot of fun.
Now we might have to bring up some. We didn't get any pheasants, but we got 4 cats today.
Whoops.
I can get you a cat.
Oh, my God.
Where'd you get the cats? Not a problem. Not a problem.
A
All right, I'll
famous
see you.
moment in Monday Night Sports Talk. Joe says, "Where do you get a dead cat?"
Not a problem. Not a problem. I'll talk to you Monday.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, God. Here we go.
a scramble.
Darn right it is. And you know what? How about this? You're sitting on the shore, and the boat's running. What's the line from Caddyshack? When you're setting ashore.
When your ship has come in.
Thank you. I knew you could help me out, rookie. And you're with a fine glass of Harmony Spirits on ice. Bourbon.
You think you've got the stock market beat.
That's right. Thank you, Joe. Never better late than never. Anywho, Harmony Spirits is here to remind you that summer is not over yet. No. And it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous weekend. So if you are in the area, stop down in the tasting room in Harmony, Minnesota, and stop in and say hi to the crew, and you can sample those fantastic handcrafted cocktails and that rotating menu right there in the tasting room down there in Harmony, Minnesota. And also just a reminder, they have updated their Facebook page, which does a great job of posting videos and recipes and all sorts of stuff. So search Harmony Spirits Distillery on Facebook. But the biggest thing that you can do is help out my friends at Harmony Spirits. Go into your local liquor store and ask for the Harmony brand by name. That is how all of you GLers are going to continue to help out with Harmony expanding their brand. Boy, oh boy, the blackberry lemonade with bourbon, that might make it worth a trip just down there just this weekend alone. Anyway, go to harmonyspirits.net, find out more about upcoming events, and please let them know that you heard about them on the Garage Logic podcast. Joe?
Do you have a little fanfare for me?
Oh, I didn't know you needed fanfare. That's right.
We got the syrup winner.
It's time for Love in a Hardware Store.
Mr. Stirrup. Syrup. Did I say stirrup?
Sure did. How you doing?
Here is the information for shipping. Oh, no.
Nope.
We don't want that.
No, we don't need that.
This week's GLer of the week.
Let's go.
With the Masters Maple, right?
Huh?
Yes.
Huh?
Thank you, Clem.
Masters Maple.
This week's GLer of the week is Jim Becker of Waconia,
Hey,
Minnesota.
Jimmy!
Right. Right.
When's the last time you've been to Waconia?
Couple years, probably.
Boat show?
Oh, maybe not. Maybe just
Lake
I don't
Waconia,
know.
one of the best
Maybe
kept
I
secrets
said
in the
it's
state.
not-
happened to your voice,
Lake
Joe?
Waconia is a hidden gem in this state.
That's not bad. It's all right. But
not
anyway,
hidden.
that's where this guy lives, Jim Becker.
Huh?
He's out there in Waconia.
Yeah.
And he wins the Masters Maples.
That's right. The gift
syrup,
pack.
The syrup gift pack.
The whole
from Mr. Syrup.
shooting match.
Yep.
What's up, Mr. Syrup?
Congratulations, Jim
Maple.
Becker. Do you need this back?
Master Maple.
You need this back?
How are you?
I love Master Maples.
Well, plus you get the seasoning.
The
Right?
seasonings, the rubs.
Joe never
I
changed.
like many rub.
The rubs. On this,
Context does provide something there. Having a nice rub or a nice rubs, that's very different.
on this,
Many rub.
What has
but one rubs.
happened?
I don't know.
only because they come to us all the way from the traveling Lymans who are in Marloth Park in Mpumalanga Province, South Africa. You can find them at worldwidewaftage.com. It was on this day,
September 12th.
well, it was on this day in 1881.
The old day.
The balloon Great Northwest, piloted by Samuel A. King and carrying 8 passengers, ascended from Minneapolis. The team planned to travel to the Atlantic coast, and they garnered national attention for that. But the flight was a failure. It didn't make it to St. Paul.
No.
Wait a minute.
A forced landing
What a
before the
voyage.
balloon reached St. Paul.
Unfortunately, their
They went
luggage.
about 10 feet.
Yes.
What a voyage.
The wizard will explain it.
On this day,
Yes, September 12th.
well, he's supposed to do that,
Oh.
but I like it when somebody does it.
But I'm not supposed to look at him.
Right.
Right, then
Stop
what's the
looking
date?
at
I'm not. September 12th.
Well, on this day in 1883, oh, this is a sad note
Yeah,
for
this
me.
isn't good.
The Little Sisters of the Poor established their convent in St. Paul. You know they're about to lose it?
Yes,
They're going out of business.
that's really sad.
Were they counting on your donations to continue?
No, I took care of them that one time. The sisters began as a Hospitallers order in Saint Servan, Brittany, France, dedicated to serving the elderly, poor, and infirm. and they maintain convents and hospitality houses all over the world. The Little Sisters are not disbanding. They're losing their property in St. Paul.
Why hasn't somebody come in to help that?
Because I don't have enough money.
How about the pole lads?
I don't think they do either. Also on this date,
On September 12th.
also on this year, 1883, Theodore Christensen, I think they called him Ted, was born in Lucky Parle Township. From 1925 to 1931, he served as Minnesota's 21st governor, the second one to be born in the state. He also wrote a 5-volume history of Minnesota. He died on December 10, 1948. Ted Christensen was the governor.
And what's the translation? You should know this after years and years of French lessons. What's the literal translation of that lake?
Lake of the Pearls.
No.
Lake of something.
Lake that
Speaks.
There you go. Very
Lake
good.
that
I'll
speaks.
take that.
All right. Sports disappointment history.
On September 12th.
1982. The Twins lost 18-7, and a guy named Terry Felton was credited with his 13th loss of the season and the 16th loss of his career. He was released after the season and finished his career 0-16.
Ooh. Boy, did he stink.
That would have been the first year in the Metrodome.
Yes, sir.
Terry Felton, I remember him.
I do not.
Yeah, first year in the Metrodome. And Terry didn't...
He didn't fare too well, huh?
I hope maybe he's getting a major league pension.
I doubt it.
Maybe you got to be there a certain length of time.
Yeah, how about that?
What was I going to tell you? Something...
Metrodome, Terry Felton.
No.
Friday, checked out.
Well,
there she goes. They don't make them like they used to.
Not surprisingly, that 0-13 year was his last year in the majors.
So no pension.
Well, was his career record 0-16?
0-16 was his career record. Yes.
Wow, that's not much to hang
You
your
got
hat
called
on.
up to the show for a little cup of coffee.
Well, he was there for more than a cup of coffee.
Yeah,
4 years.
16 times somebody believed in him.
He pitched in 55 games total, 48 of them in that season.
How old a fella is he?
How old is he now?
Yeah.
He would be 67.
Oh, he's a young guy.
He
What
was
kind of
born
coffee
in,
did he drink?
He was born in October of 57.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you have the time and temp?
Thank you,
His
GM.
wife, Jana, was
get the time and the temp.
his wife, Jana, was a former classmate of his at Baker High School.
What town?
Well, he's from Louisiana.
Oh.
So it
Bakersfield.
looks like Baton Rouge.
I hope he's having a good life now.
Yeah.
There's nothing in his
I bet
after.
he is. I bet he tells that story every time he goes to have a cup
he
of
did,
coffee.
He did make minor headlines in July 2004 when his 2-year-old daughter was attacked by the family dog. Felton shot and killed the dog.
Good for him.
Okay.
Daughter
I knew this
suffered
guy that used to
minor
duck
injuries.
hunt over on Lake Christina.
Yeah, how do
He
you?
had a golden lab and a black lab and a chocolate lab, and he'd some days he'd get his limits, other days he wouldn't get his limit, and one day he had 2 times his limit, and the game warden came by, and so he shot that game warden, tied an anchor to him, pushed him over. Well, of
yikes.
course, they found him right away.
That
so
took an ugly turn.
Did he go to jail?
That guy ended up in jail, and then in jail he got beat up by a inmate who was actually a relative of the game warden. And you want me to continue? I mean,
Sure.
I can go on with this story.
Finding this very
I
interesting.
wonder if I get the time and the temp.
I was at the Metrodome one day, and guy came up to me and started talking to me. I was sitting next to Dark Star, and the guy had let's just call it a dental problem. And when the guy turned to leave, Dark said, "See you at the fair."
See at the fair.
Just for the record, Joe, I did not look at Rookie at all during that final segment.
I
just so you
appreciate
know.
that.
But you know what you should look at? You should look at the Garage Logic YouTube channel, because on that YouTube channel, you can watch the show each and every single day starting right around noon. You can also see full segments. There's video shorts. There's even behind the scenes footage. Just search Garage Logic, 2 words, on YouTube, and search Garage Logic on all of our social media channels, which includes Facebook, Instagram, and X. And also download the Daily Logician. No, wait, that's not it. Sign up for the Daily Logician. That's right. That's an email that comes right to your inbox each and every single day, and it includes the most recent episode of the podcast. Find out more, sign up today on the website, which is, of course, garagelogic.com.
I have a question. When's the last time you had a piece of gum? For real?
Long time.